So good morning to everyone present here. So I'm very happy to conduct this webinar, Creative Ad Design by you, Yogesh. So now I invite our HOD sir, S. Parthasarathi, to invite the speaker.
Hello. Hello, madam.
Yes, sir. Kekku, sir. Yes, sir.
கேக்குதுங்களா?
Yes, sir.
It's clearly audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. எத்தனை ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்திருக்காங்க மேடம்? வந்திருக்காங்களா?
Yes, sir. 73 students, sir.
Okay. We will wait for the students to join or we will start the session, madam?
We'll start, sir.
Okay. I am very happy to welcome resource person for today's webinar, Mr. Yogesh, multimedia specialist, research and development, image infotainment limited, Chennai. I welcome you, sir. I also like to thank Urani madam for having arranged this wonderful topic, creative ad design. After the pandemic has opened many avenues for e-commerce activities, and multimedia people. I get some disturbance. Hello. Okay. Now it's okay. So after the pandemic has opened many avenues in the field of graphic designing. You can find many number of e-commerce startups during this pandemic period. I mean, for the past 2 years, this will be very useful for the students. So creative ad design. The seminar on creative art design will be a very useful and benefit for the students. I welcome all the students to this webinar and also other faculties and our department faculties who are part of this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir Yogesh, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Shall we start the session, ma'am?
Yes, sir. We'll start the session, sir.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Fine. Thank you so much. So first, very good morning, everyone. Before we get in the session, right, first let me give a small introduction about myself and I'll share my screen also. Hope my screen is visible to everyone, I think so.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is visible.
Yes. My name is Yogesh. I'm from the Image Creative Education, where my designation is Research and Development Team, where heading the departments of graphic design, user interface and user experience, as well as like interior design. My overall years of industry experience is almost like 10 years, was 3 years in production and 7 years full of in teaching industry. And I work with many different types of like areas, like I worked in print medium, digital medium on designing mobile application as well as front-end development for websites. I done numerous number of architecture visualization walkthroughs. Even I worked as a freelancer for some gaming companies on modeling, like what do you say, game prop models and other things and all. Okay. So today's session, right, like we are all gathered here we're going to learn about the insights about graphic design. Okay, so in this insights about graphic designs, right, what are the major concepts we're going to see now? First, we're going to see what is about graphic design, why graphic design plays a very vital role, and why advertisements are important for like, what do you say, for every brands. And if you want to like design something, okay, like how the job role of graphic design is going to be. And in this graphic designer's role, right, there is a particular part we're going to discuss. That is what we call as what, creative advertisement. So what is meant by the term creative advertisements? And finally, I'm going to like teach you in Photoshop, like how in newspaper industries or magazine industries, right, how they're creating in a customized creative ads and those things and all. So this is what, right, like we're going to learn in our entire session. But before that, right, I want to ask you, like, you want me to communicate in English or Tamil, which is more comfortable for you people to understand? So you can post your answers in the chat box, whether Tamil or English, which is more comfortable for you people. English, and based on the words, right, like we can proceed with that. So for everyone, English is comfortable, right?
Yes, sir, English is comfortable. Students will.
Yeah, okay, ma'am, then no problem. Okay. So, and one more thing also, guys, like I want this session to be a little bit of interactive also, because I don't want to be happen in a one-way communication. If I done every single thing on a one-way communication now, it's something like on a, what do you say, it's based on lecture oriented it will be. So I don't want that. I want to be happening in both ways of interactive communication needed. Okay. So first thing, you people are like a VisCom first year students. Like I got the details from your ma'am actually. So I think like in yours first year second semester, right? You have like a specific portion itself called as Photoshop, I think so. And you already completed your graphic design things and all everything, right? So I want to ask you like what is meant by the term graphic design according to you people? What is meant by graphic design? Any ideas about it? Graphic designs means what? Guys,
Computer generated image, a shape or a geometrical thing.
okay, computer generated shape or a geometrical thing. Okay, good, good. Any other better answers can we have here? Good one, people. Any other things can you people say? An explanation for graphic design, and you don't have to like what do you say, like being silent or feeling shy for what I say, whether we say wrong answer, what will be thing. It's nothing like that. Why I just want to ask you now, like I just want to know how much you people like awareness about it, that for the one purpose only. So
So
any,
designing,
yes, please, yes, Yogesh, please.
is it like designing or creating something using digital tools?
Okay, designing or something using the digital oriented softwares. Okay, yes, Mohammed. Yes, Mohammed, you raise your hand, right? Like you can say. Any other answers from anybody about what is meant by graphic design? Any other answers? Okay, fine, not an issue at all. Let me tell you, okay, there are two things that are actually there. One is an art, another one is a design. Okay, what is maybe the term art now? Art is something like what we call it as is used to emote as some kind of an expression. That is what we call it as an art. Whereas the term design, right, what we used to say is now design is used to communicate something and an information. That is what we call as design. There are many different types of designs are actually there. Okay, text designs are actually there, shape-based designs is there, audio kind of communications are actually there. Many different types of things are there. But which is more effective for any kind of an audience to understand easier content is nothing but the visual communication. For example, you all people know Steve Jobs, right? So if I want to learn about Steve Jobs and if I search in Google, obviously like Wikipedia only is going to come for me. And once if I choose Wikipedia, I can see all the information about Steve Jobs, when he started the life of Apple and other different types of content, and every single thing you can find from you. But the question is whether this kind of content is interesting or not. Suppose if I give this kind of data to you, will you people like spend any amount of time in reading this? Now I'm very sure more than like 80 plus people are attending this session. Okay, in that at least 70 to 85% of the people will vomit this content. You know the reason is because in our world, you take the entire population of the world. Okay, in that entire population of the world, almost 72% of the populations are visual learners. So these kinds of people, right, they love only the content which communicate through visual, not based on text. Why they don't like text, right? Because you check this one, this kind of text is not even interesting, and it takes more amount of time for me to understand the content also. For that purpose only, what we're going to do, right? Like we have a problem here. The problem is the entire information in the form of what text basis. So we need a person who convey this information in an easier manner for many different types of people to understand this concept very easily. For that purpose only we use what? We use the help of graphic designer. So if you give the same task to a graphic designer, what will do? He converted this information into a form of infographics. Okay, infographics, again, it's a part, it comes under the graphic design only. So where you can see like the same information about Steve Jobs, it's completely explained in the format of what? In a format of a visual representation. Like how Steve Jobs started the life of Apple founder, when he was born, when he was died. And how many of people know Steve Jobs spent more amount of time in India ashramas only for food and accommodations? But here we not here to learn about Steve Jobs, right? Here we learn about more and insights about some graphic design. But why I'm telling you this now, you just need to understand how the visual communication plays a vital role in today's world. You see, we have two different types of communication content is actually there. And among them, which is very easier for a person to understand, now this kind of infographics only rather than this format of what text. So what is meant with the term graphic designers? It's very simple. It's nothing but for a problem, we're going to solve it through visually, or another words, how we can easily say, right? Communicating an information in a format of what? A visual representation. This is what we call as what? Graphic design. Okay, so here you can see the right answer. I just placed one small image over there where you can see it's a floss like, okay, it's a sunscreen brand. So for that, can you see how they portray this entire thing? Usually the
That
sunscreen when we
sun,
yes.
that sun scare was uh, playing as a shadow for those peoples in the beach.
Yes, exactly. This is what we call as a creative advertisements we used to call it as, okay, a problem for a solution. How we going to promote a sun care product? Okay, when we usually wear the sunscreen, right? Usually when we sit in a beach in the warm places, we used to wear this one to protect the skin from the sun, right? So that's what they exactly portrayed over here. Can you see? So this is what graphic design is exactly doing. Okay, and why graphic designs are playing a very vital role now? Because it's convey the information in a more easier way, as well as in a more and more form of what attractive way also. You check the two designs over here. Two designs communicating the same information about the offers in Big Bazaar, but which is very easier for an audience to understand and to get attracted towards a brand. Now, this kind of visual representation only. Excuse me. When you see this kind of text message oriented advertisement, right, many people will omit this kind of information because there is no kind of attraction towards over here. But whereas when people see this kind of advertisements, right, they easily get attracted towards a product. And you know what? Graphic designers don't do a design in basis of art alone. Art means what? The proposition, color. They don't do on this basis alone. They also do the design based on the psychology also. For example, when you see this advertisement, right, what is the first and foremost thing we people notice now? This 50% offer only. So why we noticing this 50% offer now? Because you can check this is a major amount of space occupying in this entire design. Am I right? And we people purchase in which kind of time now? Whenever there is any kind of festivals or offer or any kind of seasonal days only, right? That time only we do more number of purchasing because we get multiple different types of what objects in a lesser price and more amount of discount and multiple extra things also we used to get. For that purpose only, can you see how the designer emphasized this 50% offer in the very top, and in the bottom you can see, okay, how users I used to be, right? When they see any kind of an advertisement, they look for the offer only. Second, they look for what kind of products I'm going to get in offer. Third, they're going to give importance to what, in which place I'm going to get it. Same psychological way, the design is exactly got constructed. Here you can see first the offer, second, what are the products I'm going to get under the 50% offer, and finally, the brand logo. So this is all right. The entire design is what is exactly made over here. So this is what a graphic designers used to do. They not alone create a design only on the design basis, but also the psychologically how we gonna communicate to an audience in a much more easier way. This much of things are actually there. And why graphic design is very important for the today criteria? Now it's very simple because every single day we came across with multiple different types of brands. Okay, daily in our life activities, if it's up, you check. At least we use minimum 50 brands actually totally. Okay, for example, um, the brush we use, the toothpaste we use, the groceries we purchase for home, the apparels we used to wear, the vehicles we used to drive, the restaurants or the food we take, each and every single thing, right, it's belong to a unique brand. And how we get the information about the brand, not to with the help of what, to advertisement media only. Without advertisements, right, none of these brand won't even sustain in the market. Just like what do you say? Just think about it. If KFC didn't promote any kind of advertisements at all, you know what will happen? Automatically, this brand is going to lose all the customers. When all the customers like didn't get any kind of notifications or advertisements from the KFC, what they will do? They simply stop buying a products from the KFC itself. At a certain amount of time, KFC is going to lose all its customer along with brand value, and they don't have any kind of revenue to for what for contributing to the employees as well as for the stores and other things also. So obviously, the complete brand will, you know what, it will get shut down. The same thing if it's happened to every single brand over here because of no advertisements, you know what will happen? The international world economy itself will get changed. So for all these brands to get sustained in the market, what is the most important thing? Now it's nothing but the advertisements. And if you know, right, like nowadays we see advertisements in many different forms of way. We can see the advertisements through print medium like newspapers or magazines, or like even through digital mediums like social media platforms through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube's. There are so many different types of ways are there for what conveying the advertisements nowadays is actually happening. So advertisements are very plays a vital role. And if you check in this both platform, okay, both in the print medium as well as in the digital medium, you can see there is a job role of graphic designers will always be there. He is the person who's going to design the advertisements for the newspaper. Same, he is the person who's going to design the advertisement for the Instagram also. Okay, he is the person who creating all those advertisements for what? Promoting these all brands. Okay, so this is the importance of graphic designers almost. Okay, and secondly, graphic designers are not only the persons who making advertisements alone. They are the person, right, like who creating an identity for a brand also. For example, this is a brand you all people know, right? It's what? Can someone say what this brand over here, which I place my cursor?
Nike.
Yes, it's Nike, right? It's
Nike.
Nike, yes, Nike. Good. Okay, so very easily without the brand name, by seeing this pictorial icon alone, you people find out it's belong to Nike, right? Because it's very famous brand, right? But on creating this brand icon, okay, it's become more famous because it's what? It's very simple and easily memorable also. That is one of the major reason we can able to memorize this Nike brand, okay? But making on this Nike brand, you know, right? How much amount of efforts and researchers these graphic designers to put now, it's a huge thing. Because every single logo, right, they you see in your day-to-day life, it takes a lots and lots of years for the research and as for designing. For example, you check all these famous logo over here, all these logo have like a unique story behind them. Anybody know the story of Nike logo here? Anyone know the story of Nike logo? How that brand name got Nike? Anyone knows about it? Either you can say yes or no, otherwise I can say the answer, not a problem at all. Don't know, sir. Okay, no problem. Okay, fine. So Nike is purely, it's a sports brand, right? They create many different types of sports accessories, like a t-shirt, jersey, shoes, apparels, wristbands, etc. It's purely, it's a sports brand. But how that brand acquired the brand name of Nike? Now there is a story behind it. Like in modern days, how we worship many different types of God for different types of purposes. For studying purposes, we worship Lord Saraswati Devi. Similarly, for the money purpose, we used to worship what Lakshmi Devi. And for health purposes, we used to worship Parvati Devi, right? Similarly, in the Greek time, okay, in the Greek mythology period, like if any God of War people's fans around here, or Clash of Titans or Wrath of Titans movie fans, so we people may heard about it. Yes, in the Greek time, we have so many different types of Greek gods are actually there. Poseidon is the god of ocean, Zeus is the god of almighty, and Ares is the god of war. And there are many different types of Apollo is the god of sun. Like this, many god and goddesses were there. And one among them, there is a Greek goddess, sir. Her name is what we called as Nike. Okay, so she is a goddess of sports. Okay, so whoever worship Nike, right, they're gonna get the speed and victory and strength in the sports game. So now you know, right, like why the brand acquired the name of Nike, because indirectly they're saying what you're wearing the goddess of sports. Obviously, you're gonna win this game. And how this brand acquired the tick mark as a logo now from our wings, you can see. Okay, so this is how, right, the brand name got Nike and the logo of the tick mark is formed from our wings. Same like that for each and every logo here, they have like unique stories actually there. Wikipedia you take, okay, like why it's in a form of in a global shape with multiple jigsaw puzzle now. It's an information site. From all around the world, I can able to get the informations. And here you can see each informations in jigsaw puzzle, which means what? Each and every information, right? It's not like similar to other information. Every information is a different one because like in Wikipedia we can get the information about geography, science, history, like celebrity, etc., so many number of things you can able to get the information. Varieties of informations will be there and none of the information used to be seen. And why every jigsaw puzzle have like a different kind of character now? Because in Wikipedia you can translate your content to any language, either to Hebrews, Chinese, Tamil, English, or like Hindi, any kind of language you can able to like translate them. And why it's kept unclosed now, it's very simple because information is always infinity. 10 years from now or 20 years from now, right? If you want to like add some information in Wikipedia, it's possible. That's why it's kept unclosed. Similarly, Cisco you take, okay, it's a networking based company. This company, why, how it's got this logo now and how the brand name it's got. Now this company, networking companies initially started in the country called as San Francisco. And what is the superb thing about San Francisco, right? In many movies, you can see this, that's bridge. Okay, so you can check, this is a San Francisco bridge. Based on the bridge shape over here, can you see this? Based on the bridge shape only, these signals are actually constructed. It's a networking company, that's why they use the signals in what, like in a high and low number of frequency here. And Adidas you take, so why Adidas have like a unique kind of logo now? It's very simple because why we use sports shoes, especially for running or mountain trekking, for each and every purpose, there are different kinds of shoes. We can't go for running or trekking with the formal shoes or with the loafers, it's not possible. So for that specifically, we need a unique kind of a shoe. Why we have to like go for a sports shoe for running now? Because it only gonna protect your ankle. And that logo is especially designed based on what? Based on the human ankle only. So you can check here. So the human ankle as well as the Adidas logo shape. Can you see this? And why did they like to create it in a slope base now? Because initially Adidas, when they come for the marketing purpose, right? They manufacture the major number of shoes for mountain trekking purposes. Later only they go for what? For the sports and other kinds of related purpose. But initially they're done for what? They're done for the mountain and trekking purpose. That's the reason here you can check. It came in a format of what? Slope kind of a format you can see over here. And Apple also you take, okay, there are many stories for Apple. Okay, like why Steve Jobs named the brand name Apple? Now it's very simple because when he was inventing the Macintosh products, right, that is what we call as Mac computers, he is on a fruit diet. So in that time, Steve Jobs, the more amount of fruit what he consumed now, he consumed water. He consumed that Apple only. So that is the reason, right? He keep the brand name itself Apples because Apple is a very light and very, what you say, easily digestible. It's a kind of food. It's more and more light food used to call it as. And if you check with the history, right, all the revolutions are happened based on Apple. For example, Adam and Eve apple, human revolution has been born. What is a Newton's gravity is also found by through Apple only. And why they given a byte over here, right? It's very simple because it's a digital company, so it falls under category of 011 bytes. That's why you can see a byte over here. So this much amount of research, guys, actually, and stories are behind on each and every single logos actually. Even you take this one also, Java, the program is there now, programming language. And this is the logo of Java you can see. And many people get confused. Why Java and a coffee kind of a thing is actually mentioned? Now it's very simple. During developing this programming language, right, those programmers almost drank 80,000 liters of coffee in the total development of programming, right? They almost drink 80,000 liters of coffee. So that is the reason they kept the identification symbol as like the coffee as for the Java programming language. So many interesting facts there. Actually, graphic design is a very interesting subject, guys. If you start to dig, learn, and you can able to learn more and more superb kinds of information, things will be there. And you know what? What is the superb thing about being graphic designers, right? For creating the brand's logo, they're gonna charge so much amount of, like, for example, you check all the famous brands over here. For Nike brand, it's 4.4 crores. Pepsi, 7.4 crores based on INR. I'm talking about it. ANZ, it's a bank in New Zealand. Okay, it's 111.5 crores. It's actually got charged for designing this one. Accenture, it's cost 744 crores for designing this logo. So just imagine this much amount of, like, what do you say, brands, like, what do you say, give the charges, I mean the charging for what, for completely designing an identity for them. And recently, you all people know, right, MI logo is actually got revised. This is the old logo of MI and this is a new logo of MI, and you can't see more amount of difference over here. And why this is exactly got changed now, I think you people know, right? Like currently in the iPhone 12 as well as in the Android latest OS, right? Like where you can majorly find all the app launcher icons in a format of what, in a rounded rectangle. Okay, it's almost like in a more in a circle in a form of rounded rectangle used to be. For that conversion, the designer charged amount of for 2.2 crore rupees. For just converting from this one to this one, 2.2 crore rupees is actually got charged. Just remember this much amount of, like, what do you say, growth and demand we have in this graphic design industry. And you know what? In the world, mostly the highest paid designers are graphic designers only, because for a single logo, right, they used to earn that much amount of money for it. And for every changes in the brand, right, again, it's going to cost them a more amount of money to the brands only. That's the reason. And in today's session, right, like we majorly going to get what now? We're going to like understand about creative ads. Actually, in graphic design, if you take, right, there are so many number of things are actually there. We have like a logo designing, it's a specific subject is there. Infographic design is there. Collateral designing subject is there. And then digital advertisement, that is what we call the social marketing design. That is a specific subject is there. Creative advertisements is a specific subject is there. Many different types of subjects is there. Even photo restoration as well as retouching and well as photo enhancing. This is a kind of a specific session is there. Illustrations we have flat illustration, isometric illustration, line art illustration, mid-century illustration. This much amount of illustration subjects is there. Packaging and product designing subject is there. E-publishing and e-book designing is subject is there. In graphic design category, there are so much amount of things are falling under this. In among them, today topic what we chose now, we chose of what we chose about creative advertisements. So why creative advertisements are very important now? Because, like, you know what, there are so many number of advertisements are actually there, but there are some advertisements alone, right? Like we can able to remember them for a very long time, because in your day-to-day life, right, you can see more number of advertisement boards in digital media as well as in newspaper. If you scroll Instagram, you can see more number of sponsors advertisements used to be there, but you won't remember all the advertisements alone. Only a certain few advertisements alone, right? It's going to like make you remember for a very long time. In among them, one of the advertisement is creative advertisement. So what is the superb thing about this creative advertisement, right? Like they used to convey information in a more creative and as well as in a unique way. Okay, and this is not like a one-person job. There is a group of creative people used to discuss, and they used to like create an advertisement for different types of campaign purposes or commercial purposes, or even for any kind of brand purposes or any for non-profit organization purpose also they used to create it. For example, in the right-hand side, you just check this advertisement over here. It's very simple and very clear. Okay, the brand name is what we call as Orient Telescopes. Okay, and telescopes, right? Like what we do, we use it for like a long distance seeing purpose only we used to do, right? And now can you see how they like, excuse me, how they actually like created this advertisement over here with three different types of zooming level. So in 200x we can see the moon, in 400x you can see the US flag over there, and in 800x you can see like this flag is what is made up of and made in China. So here you can see a humor sense also will be there, and how they like promoting that telescope, that plot also will be mentioned here, and how uniquely they convey this message. Can you see this? So when we say like what do you say, create an advertisement for telescope, what people usually do, they'll go to Google, they download some telescope images, they'll keep it, they'll put the brand logo, they put the description, they put the price and all those things. This is what the general people used to do. But creative people, what they used to do, they used to create these kinds of concept only for what? For creating the advertisements. And you can see the design looks of both more and more simple as well as an aesthetic format also. And when you go on and design a creative advertisement, right, there are some features we always need to follow. First one is the originality of the content. Okay, content must be original, like we should not like copy it from others and those things and all. And second thing about this feature, about this creative advertisement, right? The content elaboration part is very simple. You can't find more amount of text-oriented details or nothing alone will be there. You can see only the content with a few element of text, and the content elaboration also it's very simple and as well as short. And third one is the flexibility of idea. So it's up to your pure wish. Okay, you can create your ideas as much as you want. There is no like what do you say like a barricade for these things and all. And we have to like clearly come out with the synthesis of the advertisement, which means what? It's a like this is a brand. It's purely selling about of what paints. Okay, and those paints, right? Like we have one additional feature is called as scent. Along with color, I can choose my scent also nowadays. So the major theme is almost of what? Painting only, paint only. Okay. So can you see how they implement the synthesis of the brand over here with the painting brush, along with the what different types of color, and for the smell and fragrance, can you see they use different types of flowers over here. And you can see there is an artistic value also will be there. The ad looks more creative and more unique. Design wise, you check the content is very readable for me. I can able to like clearly see the text contents and other elements also very easily. And finally, the sense of humor which I'm talking about. Okay, there is a small amount of humor also will be there usually when you check many different types of creative ads. So let me see right now. Okay, so we see more amount of technical parts in this. Now let me show you some of the creative ads example for you. Then what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to like teach you how in newspapers, right? They're creating creative photo manipulation advertisements. For example, this is what the advertisements you people majorly see in your newspapers and all. Okay, like a car advertisements and things and all will be there. But if you generally check, right, you can't see the entire stuffs and things, because they keep only the mock-up alone usually. One second, I'll show you. Okay, this is a kind of mock-up alone will be there always, guys. Okay, so in this mock-up only, what we're going to do, right? Like we're going to like create a unique advertisement for them. And for that, what we majorly going to do now, we're going to work with our Photoshop only in this. Many advertisements you check. Okay, many advertisements you check. All these advertisements you see here, right? It's not a real-time photograph at all. Okay, it's nothing but a mix-up of what? Multiple random images in a proper way. So this is even the tar, many different types of brands you take. None of them are very real. All of them are what are created in the Photoshop only. So for making this kind of manipulation, right? What are the different kinds of techniques and tools we can use for it? And I'm going to like teach you in a very easier way. Okay, so anyone who know the beginner level in Photoshop ABC also, right? With the idea of like perfect images, you can able to what? You can able to design these things. Okay. So, but before that, I want to show you some of the examples of the real-time creative advertisement so that you can get an idea about it. So you can check many different types of creative advertisements, right, are playing a very vital role right now. So you can check, okay, this is for an, what do you say? It's for a banking, like a insurance based on advertisements that you can check, okay. Even in any country, any part of the world, right, like you can get insurance and special benefits and all those things and all. Based on that only they created this one. Same like that, you check this one over here for any kind of food and beverages products, how they actually do the advertisement for this one. And this is for what, like a pulpy orange, right? And can you see how they created the design over here with the using orange itself directly? And all the image you can check, right? Every single one of them is a separate one. This product is separate. The splashes, every single thing they're done with the brushes. And these images, the background hood, the background image, all these are what? They are nothing but a separate images only. And even for the inverter, can you see how they like created this advertisement over here? Both in cool as well as in warm. The heaters, it's actually majorly on. How the heaters is gonna like save you. And here you can check. This is for like what, like for cosmetic advertisements. For the shampoo, even they done the work in what, in the work in the hair also you can check. So this kind of advertisements and all, right, it's all belongs to for creative advertisements only. So if we're gonna like design the advertisement, now first, whenever you're gonna do any kind of like creative advertisements, okay, in Photoshop, first you need to like, you need a concept. Okay, in my cases, right, like I'm gonna like design a advertisement for this Ford car. Okay, so for this car only, right, I'm gonna create an advertisement right now. So usually like these Ford's car, right, like they are like more like what we used to call as SUV types we used to call it as. These SUV types, right, they are like, what do you say, like a special thing about Ford. They can travel in any different kinds of surfaces. Like both in a like a desert as well as in a road or in a forest, they can travel in any kind of things. Okay, that is what the SUV power is all about. So in our case, we're gonna like what, we're gonna like create a advertisement for this SUV car. So I want to make this SUV car to look more toughened and more stronger. So in that case, I need to like the think something like of what, like an desert kind of a situation with a background of more number of mountains and sands and bushes and grass. These are the things I actually needed. Okay. So that's what we're gonna like do right now. So first, what I'm gonna do, right? I'm just gonna go to my new document. Let me go to the print itself. So I want to like convert my orientation to pixels, where I'm gonna keep the resolution something like a full HD resolution. And for the PPI, I'm gonna give it something like around 150. Okay, so this is my workspace right now. So first thing, what I'm going to do, right, like I already downloaded many different types of images, okay, for each and every single image I downloaded here. Here you can check, I have a clouds and then like a warm grounds and grasses and a set of mountains and also something like a sand for the desert purposes. So here you can find there are multiple things that are actually downloaded over here. Now we're going to like work it one by one right now. So first let me start with from the clouds. So let me place my image over here. So you can press Shift and Alt. And if you're people using Photoshop 2021, this kinds of things, right? There are so many number of features are actually there. It's make your selection time very, very lesser. So please look into it if you have free time. Because like we use majorly Photoshop for what? For background removing and other kinds of things, right? But whereas in 2021, right, they updated many different features for what? For the selection processes and other things, okay? But unfortunately, I don't have the 2021 version. The version which I use is 2021, so I can't show the features and things and all. Fine. So the next thing is, right, I'm just gonna like bring my son, but before that, I want to like remove these parts and all from my image right now. So for that, what I'm going to do, right, let me rasterize my layer. And if you want to like remove this content, right, generally what we do, we use clone stamp tool for what? For cloning this content, right? But what I can do now, sorry, I can just make a very rough kind of a selection here. Now let me go to content aware fill. So it's one of the new feature we have in this CC version. So where you can see based on the backgrounds, right, automatically it's actually filled this area with what these kinds of things right now. Can you see? Now let me press OK. And now I can do, right, I can select my clone stamp tool. Anyhow, like these areas, it's not even going to like visible for me at all. So we don't have to worry about them a lot, because in these areas, right, the sand is going to come right now. So I'm going to like select the sand image. Okay, so we need the sand area till over here, right? So I'm just going to apply a layer mask for it. Let me select my brush tool. So you know the layer mask, right? Wherever you paint with black, those areas, right, it's going to become what? It's going to become 0% opaque. So let me blend them well. So next one is, right, I'm just going to bring my mountains over here. So let me place it. And for the mountains, right, I don't need this sky actually. So I need these mountains alone, right? So what I can do now, I can select my magic wand tool. Now just select it. By pressing shift, we can like keep on add our selections also. So now we can check. So for this, I'm just going to apply some, what do you say, feather alone for it. And I'm going to like do what now? So now if I directly plus my layer mask, right, only this cloud alone is going to get visible. Can you see this? But what we need now, we need our the rest of the things. I don't want the cloud. I want the mountains and the rest of my things. So in that case, if I press Alt and click on the layer mask, now it's going to like inverse selection for me. Whatever not selected, it's going to get visible. Whatever selected right, it's going to become hidden for me right now. And same way, I'm going to again select my brush tool right now, because we don't want this area at all. We want our sand to be what? To get visible. Okay, now again I can able to change it to white. So we're gonna like fix these areas and all in later on right now. So we don't have to like worry about whether it's not blended right now or not, because after a certain amount of time, right? Once if we done the color correction, added some like smokes and fogs and other things, right? You can find out it will completely get blend with the background also. Okay. Now the next thing is, right, I don't want my sand to be look full of like the sands alone. I want to like add some like bushes and other things. So it's all about like initially you need to download the images, guys. Like you need to like come up with a plan always. So that is the first and foremost things you need to do. Very first thing, when you're going to like design, right, any kind of creative advertisement, first you need to get the resources images. And for getting the resources images, right, there are many different types of ways are actually there. So either if you want like an copyright, don't want any kind of copyright problem, right? You can get the images from Unsplash. So what are the images which you downloaded from here, right? All these images are what it's belong to no copyrights. So these images I can use for both commercial and non-commercial purposes. So no one given a copyright for this one. So the images, whatever you see right now in this, right, the majority of the images I used with Unsplash only. Now I'm gonna like press Alt and apply on a layer mask for this right now. merge these two layers. Okay, so once if I press Alt and apply on the layer mask, right, every single thing is gonna come black for me. Now I'm gonna like so randomly, right? But for all these things, you need to keep your brush sizes very small, like what you say, hardness amount very lower. Then only you can see the blend will get happen. Suppose if you keep an hard brushes, right, it won't get work at all. So now I'm going to like select this entire layer. I'm going to like reduce its opacity to something like around 70%. So you can see it's got well blended right now. So now the entire scene is got ready, but here you can see the clouds are actually not that much enough clouds are actually there. So now what I'm going to do, right, I'm just going to create a new layer. So I'm going to create my own clouds right now. For this, we need the more support of brushes. Like we have like a brush easy. There's a website is actually there. Okay, where you can get download multiple different varieties of brushes for absolutely free. All you just need to create a free account alone. Suppose if you search for clouds around, right, you can find n number of clouds and lighting, many different types of brushes you can see from here. Now I already downloaded like certain brushes, so I'm gonna like use those brushes only right now. So I'm gonna like keep the color white. Now you can see, and with the more darker basis, right, you can check. So I can create my own clouds in a very easy and a very faster way also. And for fixing up these areas, right, now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to like create some sand, like a dust or something like that. So I'm going to name it as like a dust. Same, I'm going to use my brushes only. When it comes to the creative advertisements, it's all about images and more number of what brushes alone. So that's how, right, like you can able to create a very perfect, like what do you say, photo manipulation things and all. Now here you can check, I have like a more number of fog and other different kinds of brushes with me.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Sir, you have downloaded these brushes from
Yes, I
somewhere else,
just
sir?
downloaded these brushes from the website which I showed you, right? These clouds brushes only. By default, you won't have these brushes and all. So
Okay.
all the brushes you need to download and you need to install it.
Okay.
And for the color, I'm gonna like get some nice sand color for it. Okay, but you can see it's having more amount of dust right now, even though this area got blended. So I'm gonna like select my brush again. So let me choose a normal brush itself. Okay, so now you can see. So why we use this, right? To simply like blend these parts along, okay? To make sure the mountain and these areas to get blend. For that purpose only I use this. And now it's time for me to like bring my car and do the other parts and all. The car already I removed the background and I kept over here because I don't want to like spend time in selection concepts and all. But in car now, what I'm going to do, right? This car is already a color of what something like blue. But generally, if you want to change a car's color, what we can do, right? We can choose hue and saturation, and we can change the car color from here to any color whatever we want. But in case if you want to like change your car either to black or white now, for that there is a technique is there. So how we going to work out? Generally, if you reduce the entire saturation, it will become into grayscale. We don't want that. So what I want to do, right, instead of the master, I'm going to choose what this car exactly colors contain. It's contain blue as well as cyan. These are the two family colors it's contain, right? So let me go with blue. I'm going to reduce its entire saturation and entire lightness. Now you can see the blue alone has been gone. And still there are some areas alone you can see the cyan is actually there. So I'm going to choose cyan again. I'm going to reduce the cyan's brightness as well as the saturation. Now one more thing what I'm going to do, right, the font color is also gone. So for this area alone, let me fill this thing with, what do you say, black. Now you can check. Okay, so the car logo alone is not get changed, but other entire car is converted into pure black. So I'm gonna merge this one. I'm gonna bring this exactly over here. Now press Control T. Okay, the proportion is very important. You can't keep the car size this much pixel, or then it won't match up with the background at all. So we have to keep the proportion very properly for it. So for any object, when you get placed, right, and if you don't apply shadow, now that object won't have any kind of contact between the ground at all. So similarly, for this object, now what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to create my own shadows. So I'm going to duplicate this one. Let me bring it down below. Let me name this one as shadow. Oops, sorry. So let me tilt it properly and kept it like this. Now for the shadow, we can't see any color, only black color will be there, right? Go to FX, color overlay, keep it in a full black. And make sure, right, so all these areas are properly has been touched. Okay, but the shadow visibility is very, very harder, and it looks more sharper also. Usually shadows used to be more softer. So I'm just gonna slightly blur them. And I'm gonna bring down this opacity, right, to something more like this. Now you can see a very perfect shadows will be there, but the car, I need to fix this a little bit more. So I'm gonna add some dust. So again, from the brushes, so we have a numerous number of brushes for this especially. Okay. Just randomly add like this. It's full about of what? It's all about we keep on do with the layer mask, work with the opacity. Okay, this is the major things we have to do with. Sorry. So just remove this unwanted things and all, and keep it in the very bottom itself. Okay, so now we can check this part also has been done. And for the car, I want to add some lights. Usually for adding lights to any kind of automobiles, right, we use a thing called as optical flash. So you can get this from Google itself. This is what we call as optical flash. Many different types of images you can get from Google. It's majorly adding for what? Adding that, like what you said, adding lights for an automobile, for any other kinds of vehicle. If you want to add light, right, we can work with this optical flash. Now let me bring it over here. And I want to blend this with my background. Now we can check. Same, I'm going to apply layer mask for it. So now you can see the lights and other things also got added. Now finally, overall my thing has been done, but still the color correction wise, still I'm not get happy. Usually for color correcting them, what we do now, we just go with like different types of like curves. We adjust the curves, then we can separately work with them for more warm. These kinds of things generally we can do, but I don't want to do that. So why means because in Photoshop it's offer many different types of presets for what, for enhancing our images into final preset one. So for this first, I want to like merge all these images into one single one as a copy. Okay, so let me make it as like a original, and I'm going to again duplicate this one more time. I'm going to name it as editor. So let it be like this right now. Now what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to select, make sure this edited image is selected. Now let me go to filter, choose camera raw filters. Okay, so here we have specifically camera raw filters. When you take any kind of camera photos, right, you can able to work from them here. So you can control with them with temperature and exposure, all those things we can work with. But it's a very big process. If you like, if I start taking about this, right, it will take more than 2 to 3 years for me, because there's a huge syllabus behind it. But instead of very easily, how you can do is, now here you have something called as presets are exactly that, like how we have the many different types of presets for like Instagram and other things, right? Similarly, we have the same kind of presets for here also. Now from here you can check based on the colors and things used, right? It's entirely getting changed. But I'm going to go to my creative right now. So I need like a more amount of like a warm based design. So you can check how a nice warm thing actually got. And I want to make it more a little bit a cinematic oriented. So I'm going to select my vigneting. Vigneting means adding dark to the corners. So I'm going to like choose it on medium. And if you want, you can sharpen your image also to give slight amount of details, where you can check how much amount of details you want to add them. So I'm going to like choose like a light. Now let me press OK. Now can you see with a single amount of things right now, can you see how easy and very faster way like we done the things over here? And the colors, I don't know, it's slightly like collapsed over here because I didn't use the proper colors for to merge them. That is the one thing over here. 1 minute, please, right? So now it's almost got merged. Let me delete them. Same concept only. Duplicated. Filter, camera raw filters. That's it. Because the last time I applied the same kinds of concepts only. So I don't want to again one more time applying all the things from the So instead of directly selected here, right? Whatever the values which you applied, it's going to apply for this one very easy. And if I want, I can slightly reduce this opacity also. So now what you can see, right? It's actually blended with my background. So with the original color and other things, right? Both looks more similar for me. So this is somewhat okay for me. Can you see this? Now what I can do, right? I can do so much amount of things from here. Either I can like take this entire thing and I can put it over here for a perfect advertisement. So I can use it like this also. Or otherwise, even I can create some animations also from this. Animations means like duplicate into a new document. Okay, so now I'm going to like create one more layer. Same brushes. We have something like sand, dust. These kinds of things are actually also there. Okay, so let me add it right now, and I want to like done some proper color corrections for it. Okay. Okay, so now what I can do right now is, right, I can go to Windows, timeline. So So let me create a video timeline itself. So I want to like make a few animations right now here. So first I'm going to convert this to smart object. For making the transformations need to be happen. So you can check, select the transform. So when it comes to this frame, right? So let me slightly zoom this car size. Same way I'm going to like select transform. And let me move it over right now. So now you can check. You don't have to go for like After Effects for adding more number of effects and all. Simply in Photoshop itself, right? I can able to create this kinds of like what do you say, some small GIF animation.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, how did you make the dust like moving sidewards?
I just changed its position alone now. So in one keyframe, right, I like kept the position simple. In another keyframe, right, I just move it towards left. That's it. So now you can see the motion is actually happening over here.
So where can I get the timeline window, sir?
It's from Windows timeline.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so from this, right, like you can able to like get your time, and there is so many numbers of things you can do, right? Even from a one single image, I can able to like create what do you say, multiple different types of photo manipulation concepts. Again, you can check this is in a same kind of design, but with different type of dust and composition and all those things we actually done. So this is all right. Like we generally use Photoshop for what? For Photoshop for creating our what do you say? Uh, the creative advertisements and other all those things. Okay, so these are some of the tips and tricks, right? Like I can show you. So if you want to like create any kind of an advertisement, right? First come up with a topic. Then based on the topic, you choose some reference images. Now, and then you finally, you're going to like create an idea how you're going to like compose it. That is very much important. And if you have like a very good knowledge in this kinds of creating advertisements and photo manipulations and collateral designing, logo designs and all, right, there is so much number of job opportunities are actually there, guys. Okay, many people who don't know the value of graphic design at all, okay, they think it's a very least one, but it's not like that. In graphic design, okay, so you can find there are many different types of designs are actually there. One is good design, another one is bad design. Okay, so we need more number of good designers nowadays for what? For promoting the brand. You check why Pizza Huts, they got more number of customers. Now it's not only because of the taste, it's because of the promotion also. You check there is a local shop, they are also making kebabs and pizza. Even though they sell a more hygienic and what do you say, cost efficiency product also, which is more easy for no audience, right, to get easily get attracted, not through this kinds of designs only. Because even though this product is good, but design wise it's not communicating properly, it's failed. Even though it's more costly, right? Design wise, it's tempting more number of people. That is the advantage about it. Similarly, you check this one and this one over here. Okay, both are like a party based one, but which kind of party we obviously go this one only, right? Even though they have like a drinks, music, every single thing proper, because of the design, it's losing its customers. It's for everything, any kind of like a products or for the music things or promotions, for everything we know nowadays we need a good design. And people who are choose the career as a graphic designers, right, like based on the years of experience, they're going to get a tremendous roles on that. Because if you go as a graphic designers nowadays in a company size as entry level, you can go as an image associate, design assistant, logo designer, digital marketing designer, these kinds of designation you can choose. After a certain period of time, right, like a 1 or 2 years experience, you can promote it to what? Visual designer, senior graphic designer, design lead, product designer, senior design manager. And after that, you can go for a next level senior level, like what? Creative designer, creative director, design director, chief design officer. This much amount of career opportunities you have. And there is a one thing is actually there, you know what? There is a term between a designer and a creative designer. Okay. So this is all up to you whether you people want to be just a designer or a creative designer. Okay. I can tell you one example. If you go to any one of the local designing shops like a Star Xerox or a Penguin or Square Brothers, you can find DTP artists will be there. They are also called as graphic designers. For designing a logo, okay, for a brand, you know how much they charge? Maximum 1,000 rupees or 1,500 rupees only they used to charge. And once if they finish that, you know how they do the logo. Suppose if you want to like start up a restaurant, they if you tell them like I need a logo for my restaurant and this is my brand name, okay, you know what they do? They'll go to Google, they'll search for like what do you say, restaurant logos. They'll take this one itself, combine with the multiple things, and they'll give it to you as a logo itself. That's it. This is what a problem with the DTP artists. And even if you pay them 500 more, right, you can get 100 copies of business card also, along with the logo and business card and everything. But same logo, if you go and give it to a company, okay, a company like Pixels or Necroton, like a basic level companies we take, okay, average level companies, you know, for the logo they charge you 60,000 rupees because they are hired not DTP artists. The company hires a creative designer only. If you want to be a creative designer, means then you need to know this much amount of skills. Not software alone is going to help you. You need to know how to do the research, how to understand the design process, how to convey an information in a storytelling method, the rules and regulation for designing a logo, how to understand color schemes, typography, design principles. Okay, like
Excuse me,
software.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, so like to know all this, should you have to do a master's in graphic designing? Like after.
Yes, something like that. Either a course or a master's in graphic design, you know, then only you can able to get this much amount of idea. Otherwise, if you know only the softwares, right, you can only be a designer alone.
Okay.
Okay, very important thing, you know what? It's all about like a demographic. That is what we call as research. We used to say it as. For example, what's your name? The question you asked me, right? What's your name?
Rishi, sir.
Yeah, okay. You know TVS brand, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In TVS, we have different types of bikes now. Like we have like Apache,
Yes, sir.
and then we have like TVS Scooty is also there, and TVS 50 is also there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you want to buy among these three bikes, which bike you will choose? Either Apache or like a Scooty or a TVS 50.
Sir, Apache.
Why?
So because like it's more powerful and it looks better.
Okay. What about mileage?
Mileage is not so good, sir. Like compared to the other two.
Okay. For just an imagination, okay, you are now working in a Dunzo or in a Zomato or a Swiggy driver. In that case, you choose Apache or a Splendor.
I think Splendor because of the mileage, sir.
Why? Because you are right now you are in a college student, right? So
Yes, sir.
now your traveling things are very lesser. So from college to home or hanging out with friends, very lesser thing. So you can go for Apache. But
Yes, sir.
same thing when you go for a company and work, right? Your requirements and needs are getting changed. In
Yes, sir.
that case, you are choosing what? You are choosing Splendor. And suppose you are in a rural village where you like need to like drop off some supply from your home to like to the shop. In that case, you go with what? You go with TVS 50, right?
Yes, sir.
Because based on the usage, you're choosing a bike over there. This is what we call as demograph. We used to call it as. Okay, nowadays, majority of the designs, right, it's creating based on the demographic. The understanding about the audience need. Okay, what is the audience requirement? You can find more number of Duke showrooms bikes in water in near the college zones and college areas. You know why? Because only they are the target audience of what? Only college students alone, the Dukes you can see they get more target audience.
Yes, sir. Yes.
This is what we call as demographic. So along with graphic design, you need to know about this research knowledge also.
Okay.
Then only you can become a creative designer. Okay, only with the tools, right? What we do, we used to create, we remove background, we create collateral from the reference of Pinterest or Flipkart. This is we do. But a
Yes, sir.
creative designer won't do that. He first analyze the purpose of the project. For what purpose it's actually, who are the target audience, to whom do we serve, what are the target audience likes and dislikes, Every single thing they analyze. Based on that only they used to create the design. So that's
Yes,
what
sir.
I'm saying. It's all up to you people only, whether you want to be a designer or a creative designer. For a creative designer only, there is more number of scopes in industries we have. Okay. And if you possess this creative designer skills, right, there is a large amount of opportunity for you work in three different sectors. You can work with publishing companies, media companies, ad agencies, like many different types of sectors, right, you can work with. And there's plenty number of job opportunities also there. And when you talk about the growth about graphic designing, right, let me tell you, in India alone, right, we have lakh and 18,000 newspaper companies are there. I'm not saying anything lies on all. In India, we totally have lakh and 18 newspaper company. Okay, the country which contain more number of newspaper industries, India only. Second only is in China. Third is Japan. Okay, and per day we selling of what 78 million copies sold is getting every single day. And many female students like think, okay, this is not like a good field for us. Now it's purely wrong. Worldwide, 53.4% of the graphic designers are female. More than male, females are more higher number of competitors in this. And you know what? In every year in India alone, we require 62,000 designers, but only 7,000 designers are getting placed. Remaining people are not even there. Still, the vacancies are there. You know why? Because many people don't even have the awareness about this graphic design at all. And same like that, in 2020, the Indian growth of graphic design is 18,000 crores. You all people know 2020, it's a COVID and a pandemic situation. Many companies shut down their business itself, but still, if it's a one industry is fully functioning, that is just the graphic design industry one. Because every single thing, it's what? It's advertisements. Even in the, like our HOD has been said, right? Because of this pandemic situation, many of the business is converted into e-commerce through online. So even if they're selling in a real time or an online, they need what? They need advertisements and promotions. For them, they need graphic designers only. Okay, so that's why it's what? It's an evergreen industry we used to call it as. And US worked right for the 2020, it's $12.7 billion, the total graphic industry design worth it. And every year it's getting increased for 2.5% each on every single year. And 79 to 80% of the marketing people understand, like accept that adding a visual content to the product is make the product to sell more easily and more effectively also. So this is what the future career growth of graphic designers, guys. So right now we are like studying the graphic design. So take it as a serious thing. Learn a lot because you get a more number of job opportunities and more number of scopes in the future also. Okay, so we are almost in our end of our session. So do you people have any kinds of questions or anything you want to ask me related to?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, like since this is a very competitive industry, like how is it in terms of financial security and job security?
Everything is there, ma. Like I told you, right? Because in newspaper industry itself, you take. I told you,
Yes, sir.
lakh and 18,000 newspaper companies are there. Just imagine how many number of like graphic designers will be there in each and every companies.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Amazon you take. Okay, Amazon we have a like a designation. It's something called as image associate. Where per day they have to remove hundreds of images.
Okay.
Usually, when the Amazon peoples they take photographs, right? This is how the product photographs used to be.
Yes, sir.
So this is a photograph when they take initially, but what we see in Amazon, right? This is what the photograph used to be. You can see how many differentiations here. The reflections are actually got removed. The background is removed. The shadow has been changed. The
Yes, sir.
text and other things have become more proper. Color correction has been worked out here. All these things is done by a graphic designer. For Amazon itself, we have this much amount of job openings are there. And you take numerous number of websites right now, they're promoting information in a form of what? Visual representation, like here you check, this is a travel triangle. It's an online booking tools and travel website where you can see more amount of information is conveying in format of what? Visualization only. So even like icons where you can check. Okay. So many number of job opportunities you have and future career growth is always there and it's a very secured one. Okay,
So, what do you think about AR and VR advertisements growing?
AR and VR, they are what we called as like new media technologies. I used to call it as the new media technology means upcoming. Okay, we are in the current version of Industry 4.2. Okay, if your people not heard about it, right, just go to Google and search about it. We are in the current industry version of 4.2, where many types of technologies, or you know what, it's based on what, like how to say it as, it's purely based on like digital oriented. So in one among them only, you are talking about of what augmented reality and VR simulations are actually there. It's a booming technology. I used to say it as we have more number of scopes and opportunity there also nowadays, right? Even the schools, kids education, the K-12 educations and all, right? It's coming through what? It's coming through like AR only. Through AR, I can able to like learn a content in a more easier way. Even have you ever experienced Google Lens?
Yes, sir.
Google
Sir.
Lens product your experience, right? How it's getting work. It also works based on your experiences only. Pokemon Go, many different types of AR games we have. Okay, it is right now playing in a many wide varieties of roles, ma. Like what do you say, gaming industry, education industry, software industry, and other service industry, both AR and VR. Even VR now, we can use it for architecture visualization also. Suppose if I want to like see how my house is gonna be, okay, like to get a real-time experience, I can go use what VR simulations itself. So this is all comes under the new media industries. The new media industry means many sectors are actually there. UX and UI, it's a predominant one. And then like AR and VR, what you told. And then print medium designs, we used to call it as what? The graphic design oriented. All these sectors are comes under the term of new media industries only. Okay. So any other questions you people have?
So, how did you come up?
Pardon?
How did you come up?
How did I came up means I can't understand. Can you please ask it more clearly?
So he's asking like, how did you become a graphic designer? Like, what did you do?
Actually, to be honest, I'm an aeronautical engineering student,
Oh,
but I quit my studies at my third year because I was so much interested in drawing and doing these kinds of stuffs and design. So, like, you know what? I done my graphic design course on around like 2008 to 2009. So I just dropped out from my colleges. I done my degree in correspondence only. I was more interested in what in playing games and as well as like drawing. This two aspiration only is make me to enter into this field. Okay, when my others like fellow friends were studying that, I was started to learn in 2009 itself as a graphic designer. And when they like finished a degree, right, like I was almost in a senior grade in a company. So that's how I started my career. Now, and when I work in a company, right, where I learn more number of technologies and things. I entered as a graphic designer, but in my company, from my friends, I learned web development, and from my other friends, I learned web designing. And from one more friend, I learned how to do 3D visualizations and these things and all. And that is a thing which actually like make me to fall in teaching, because in production I can't learn so much more, but in teaching I can able to explore, learn each and every single day, because every single day I'm meeting new different types of students. Okay, so whenever I meet them, like you know, right, like during my period, I'm not that much old, I'm just 33 years old. During my period there was no that much boom to internet and all, but in your period you can see people born up with the internet, the technology, and you people are grown up together. So so in that case, it's right, you people like learn and explore more. So in that case, I have to keep my knowledge also like what up to the mark. So that is why I've been in the part of teaching industry for a very long period. So that's how my career has been started, and it's going superb right now. Any questions?
so on what basis do they recruit? Like, they employ people like
It's
you?
purely about portfolio, about your
Yes.
portfolio only. How you gonna like communicate your works, what kind of works you're gonna keep. It's purely about your portfolio.
So the
So, can
interview
you
they
show your portfolio?
Yeah. But I didn't update it for a very long time.
So, you
So
buy
it's
the domain as
No, it's a Beyonce website where we can like share our works and so many things for free. Like it's a Instagram, like how we like share our social photos, right? Similarly, this is a Beyonce, it's a website for share our works, where you can see like icon designs. So whatever you design, right, you need to design with some kind of research oriented. Only the design they won't accept. For example, if you can check, right, when I work about icon design, I'll choose a theme. Based on the theme, I choose products, the reference images, sketches, and how the icons is going to look in 3 different types. So this is how we have to design. Same like that, digital advertisements, either for Instagram, or if you're going to do, you have to do with a mockup. Either for YouTube, you're going to do, you have to do with a proper mockup. And this is mobile login and sign up pages. And infographics also have been done. Okay, this is an infographic about the education industry. How education it was in ancient time, how it is in the mid time, and how the modern education is actually all about. So like that, I have like multiple different types of works, like digital banners and advertisements. So this is what we call as responsive banners, we used to call it as. So this is what my portfolio, it contains still more number of works actually. Even interior design also I have. So some of my 3D renders and furniture models and other things. Okay. So you need a portfolio, that is very important. Okay, portfolios plays a very vital role. So any other questions you people have?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
sir, can you show your first design?
That is actually not over here. Very sorry. That I don't even know where it actually is. You know, right? I started my career as a like image associate, where my friends for the you right like they give many different types of images. I have to sometimes remove the background, resize the images for the website positioning purpose. So I worked with mostly on Photoshop for the initial 4 to 6 months. Then only I moved for the, like designing like collaterals, logos, and other things. And all. Any other questions
Sir,
related to subject oriented or career oriented? Yes, please.
sir, what will be the payment that we will get in the as a fresher, sir?
It's purely based on like what do you say, ma? Your portfolio only. Okay, like in industries you take, we have 3 different types of sectors we used to classify. One is A level company, B level company, and C level companies. If it's a A level company, means the companies like Zoho, Wipro, TCS, and then like what do you say, Ogre, Necruton, Freshworks. These kinds of companies, they're ready to like what do you say, offer you with a salary of what 3 to 4.5 lakhs per annum itself. Whereas if you go for the B level companies, they provide you only like 15 to 18 only take home per month. And for the C level, they won't even hire you. They hire you as an intern with 6,000 or 7,000 rupees only with salary. And after like 3 to 4 months of probation period only, you get confirmed. In that period only, right, like they're going to raise your salary also. But how you can get this A level or B level, C level? No, it's purely based on your portfolio only. Because company is going to see your portfolio and resume only first. So in that case, if your portfolio is not up to the mark now, you can't get selected in A level. Then you have to go for the B level only. And you have to work in B level for at least 2 to 3 years. Then only you can able to move through what you can able to move to the A level companies. That's how it can be worked. Okay. So any other questions you have?
Sir,
Yes.
so like after finishing third year, like immediately can we join in the course or what is the procedure? So like,
Pardon, I can't understand about it.
so, like after finishing a college third year, like immediately can we join graphic design course or the procedures how to join, sir?
Either you can do in a side by side also you can do, or if you want you can finish your colleges and you can do, or else you can side by side also you can do. It's up to your wish. If you can manage time right, you can do it in a side by side. So once if your college get over, you can directly go for placements. You don't have to like again spend another 3 months on studying and delaying your placement process and all. So I can suggest you to do
Sir,
side by side. That is more helpful for you. Yes.
sir, by side means which platform you prefer, sir?
Nowadays you can get things both in online as well as in offline, right?
So in
So,
online, I am asking.
pardon?
In online, I am asking.
I prefer image creative education more because they do be in the service for almost like 25 plus years, so that I can prefer that. There are so many things are actually there, but if you properly learn, right, because in YouTube you can't learn that much, that I can say for sure, because in YouTube you can see anyone can make a Photoshop tutorial and you can post. That is not going to help you. There's going to be like a proper thing from the research to till design you need to know. Now then you need to do a proper course only, I can suggest you.
Okay, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. We'll wind up, sir,
Yeah,
because we
sure.
have the next class.
Okay, sure, ma'am. No problem, ma'am.
So I'm here to propose a vote of thanks. So on behalf of Department of Visual Communication, SRMIST Ramapuram campus, I thank our resource person, Yogesh, spending his valuable time for us. So the lecture was very useful and informative to the students. So it gave new insights about graphic designing and creative advertising. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So I thank our HOD sir giving an opportunity to conduct this seminar. I thank Divakar sir for his technical support. And at last, I thank all my dear students who attended the session. Thank you, Yogesh sir.
Yeah, thank you so much,
It was
guys.
very useful. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, guys, and all the best. And I want you people to see in your upcoming life, right, in a very better place and a very better position. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Enter your feedback and attend the next class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.